he's got a pretty good mind on the direction that he wants to go, and he does very well on sitting down and listening to people that have been in the business for a while and give their opinions and thoughts and ideas. I see he does that very well.
First of all, I want to thank you for coming on the Apter Chat here. You know, you and I have known each other since you started. AEW, big. I mean, the internet blew up. So first of all, how did this happen? Who contacted you? And
Tony Schiavone.
Tony Schiavone, yes.
Yeah, you know, the ring announcer for AEW, and also does backstage interviews.
Yeah.
He got a hold of me.
Old buddy from Jim Crockett Promotion.
That is correct. And through the request of CM Punk, and you know, they had told me the storyline the last time those two guys, CM Punk and Ricky Stark, met, that Ricky, to get the win, cheated, holding onto the ropes. So they were thinking about maybe another referee on the floor, another pair of eyes, and make the match, you know, for the heavyweight championship of the world, you know, for their world championship.
Yes.
And I like CM Punk a lot. Let me tell. I don't like to fly commercial anymore. So I live outside of Knoxville, so I was on Friday. I was doing like a Comic-Con convention in Charlotte.
Yes.
And then after I was done with that Friday night, I drove up to Roanoke, and I was doing another Comic-Con convention there. And of course, AEW's show live was Saturday evening. So the company, through Tony Khan, so he asked, he says, I'd like to pick you up in Roanoke in our private jet and fly you down to Greenville, where we're doing the television taping, about a 35-minute flight. You do the match with CM Punk and Ricky Stark, and then we will get you back on my plane. Tony said, fly you back to Roanoke, because I had a commitment to do my signing, which also took in Sunday. So I was a Saturday-Sunday gig.
Great. And
me not flying commercial anymore, a lot of it is just too many hassles going through, you know, security and red tape, and I still talk to the guys that do these Comic-Con conventions that fly in from home, and they run into delays and cancellations, and you know, they've missed some of the shows, autograph signings because of it. So that was one of the main reasons why I just, I don't want to deal with that anymore. So in offering me that, I said, that was really off the hook to fly a private to pick me up to come down and do it. So, so I said, okay. And, not giving away too much. These fans today know that 90% of the stuff we do in the ring is choreographed. And they suggested an outcome that I didn't like. I said, look, you're doing a slow turn with this kid, Ricky Stark, and trying to turn him heel. And what you're suggesting is there's not going to be any heat on him. And so I made the suggestion of what everybody saw. And I said, I'd like to put some heat on this kid.
Sure.
And so everything carried out to the T. And, when I was there on ringside as the second referee, and I was listening to the crowd, it was almost like a 50-50 split. Yes. One half of the crowd was going CM Punk, the other side was going Ricky Stark, CM, back and forth. It was like a 50-50 split.
By the way, when they were cheering for Ricky, did you think it was for you?
Yeah. When I first heard it, I looked up at the stands, and then it dawned on me, no, that's for the other guy, the guy in the ring. So,
I'm sure there was a lot for you, believe me. Yes.
They're very, the fans were very generous on my introduction. Let me put it to you that way. Very, very generous. So the match was going on, and I'm saying, wow, this is about a 50-50 split here between these two, you know? And I said, I'm going to be very curious about what kind of reaction we're going to get, you know, after everything goes down. And I'm going to say it was probably 80-20 now, where they're you know, booing him 80% of what he was doing, you know, what he did to me, you know. And, you know, I was reading some of the comments, the people that watch AEW, and a couple of them were saying, you know the term, Bill, about the smart fans.
Very, very, very well.
And the one making a comment, well, they're just following the storyline. And I gave that comment a thought, and I said, well, if these guys are the smart fans that think they know everything about the business and make that comment, I wish that they would have, if they're so smart, that the thought of the process that they would have would be, okay, let's see if what they set out and if they accomplished it. Instead of saying, oh, they're just, you know, following the script, you know, the storyline. You know, if we had a lot of positive, great comments about what took place, but then there was you know, you always get them few that think they know the business and they just want to put their 2 cents in, you know, that, well, they're just following us. The bottom line is that hopefully if they know so much about the business, I just wanted them to come out and say that what they set out to do, Ricky Stark, CM Punk, and Ricky Steamboat, that they got the job done, they accomplished it. You know, instead of just, well, they're just following, you know.
Bring it apart.
Yeah, you know.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Just getting away from the match for a little while here.
Yeah.
What was it like when you went backstage there? What was the whole you were back in AEW? What did it feel like?
You know, I know you, Bill, you probably would expect me to say, oh, it was a great feeling to be back and it's, you know, to be involved. I was just sort of, you know, on a 1 to 10, you know, my feelings, I was glad to do what I was able to do to help pass the torch and put some heat on Ricky Stark, you know, get it done. And was just hoping that it happened. A lot of the comments backstage, I'm sure out of simple respect, that, you know, great job, Ricky. God, you're the best. You're still the best babyface salesman in the business. The way you sold it, you know, and I do appreciate that. But you know, I'm not enthused about doing stuff in relation to, you know, things in the business. I mean, I'm not biting at the bits at it. I've turned down more stuff than people could imagine. And I just, I've been there, done it, and I'm happy for what I've done.
Was it good backstage? Was everybody just very upbeat and very positive about it?
Yes. Yeah. They were electric, you know. Right. Yeah, they were. You know, Tony Khan came up to me and was so happy and very appreciative. You know, he must have thanked me 10 times, Bill, if he didn't thank me once. You know, in doing that. So yeah, I set out to. I wanted to get some heat on this kid, and you know, they had a result where everything would go down as it was, and then as he would spin me around and try to take a shot, I would block it and give him some big chops, and he'd take a bump through the ropes out on the floor and scurry up the ramp, you know, and it would be like a happy moment. And I'm thinking, I said, and I'm picturing this, well, where's the heat there? where's the heat, for the kid?
Yeah.
Number one, I caught him with his foot on the ropes. So that was a happy moment. Referee got knocked down, so I did my job. I was the second, so I got in the ring, and he got counted 1, 2, 3. So there's another happy moment. And then to spin me around, I blocked the punch, the cheap shot, and then hit him with some big chops, and then a big double chop, and he takes that bump through, on the floor, and then tail between his legs and scurrying up the ramp, to the back. There's absolutely no heat. And I said, and plus the fact, I'm 70, and they're going to say, God, Stark, a 70-year-old man, old timer just whooped up on you. So I said, we got to turn this around to where, he's got to catch me off guard and sucker me and get me down and do something to where it's almost to the point of disgusting and shameful,
That was all accomplished. And when you came back, was Tony Khan very happy as well?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
If you could sum Tony Khan up, what would you say about him?
I haven't spent enough time with him to really pick his brain about how well schooled he is about our business. Right. But from what I've heard, he has sort of studied our business since he was a kid.
Yes.
He would watch WWE shows and write different scripts for the whole WWE show that he just watched. Yeah. And come out with ways that of changes and maybe do it this way and that way. So I think he's pretty much a self-taught guy about our business, but clearly and 100% into it.
Yes.
He didn't come across to me not one time saying, okay, if it happens, it happens. No. I think he's got a pretty good mind on the direction that he wants to go, and he does very well on sitting down and listening to people that have been in the business for a while and give their opinions and thoughts and ideas. I see he does that very well.
Have you compared him in any way with Eric Bischoff, Vince McMahon? Because you worked with all of them.
No, there's a totally different guy in that suit, as to compare him to Vince or Eric Bischoff. He's very open-minded, and when I was telling him the psychology on why I think we should do it the way I'm suggesting, is that you could see I could see it in his eyes that he was taking everything in, and he was actually role-playing everything in his mind over. I could see when you feel like you can read somebody's face, this is not a guy that's just going to say, well, we're going to do it the way I want to do it because I think that's the way it's going to be. He was very open. I would make a suggestion on some things to do, and then I would also explain why. And then we move on to the next thing on the evening, and then I would explain why. And then we'd move on to the, at the end of the day, this is what you want to get, and I would explain why. So I found it, what's the word? It's not exhilarating, but I found it very
exhilarating.
Yeah, good word. Yeah, well, pleasurable to make suggestions and not get eyes thrown up in the air. That. Or the hard, well, we're going to do it this way, and that's the only way we're going to do it.
Right.
Anytime that's been asked of me, we're going to do it this way and that's the way we're going to do it. I've always asked, can you explain with a little bit of psychology on why you want to do it this way? And a lot of times I find that the answer that I get is, not naming names, but you can imagine, it's only because I said so.
Right. Yeah.
And Tony Khan is not that type. His mind opens up to wanting to know why and explain it to me to know why. And if he can read it the way I was reading it, then he understood why.
I got it.
Yeah.
But, you mentioned CM Punk. Your relationship. Where do you go back to CM Punk from? What?
He was working for what's that wrestling company out of Massachusetts?
Massachusetts. Well, we're not talking about Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was Ring of Honor, and they brought me in to be a special guest referee, and he was working with Samoa Joe.
How long ago was this? Like a few years ago?
No, I'm going to say 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And they brought me in as a special guest referee for the match, the main event match, and they were going to do an hour Broadway. And so I was the third guy in the ring, and I was there, and I listened to CM Punk lead the whole match for the whole hour.
Wow.
And that told me right there, this kid's got it. You know, the psychology part. You know, what to do, when to do it, why you do it at this time, why you do it in the beginning and not at the end, so forth and so on. I mean, he had all the nuts and bolts connected. And that impressed me. And at that time, I went back to John Laurinaitis, who talent development, and said, you need to take a look at CM Punk and get him up here for an audition. And John said, oh, we've had him up here a couple of times. And I said, well, what'd you do? He said, we put him in the ring with one of our regulars for about 5 minutes. And, you know, didn't see much. I said, well, I was in a match as referee he went through an hour Broadway, and he called the whole match. And this kid has the I got it. He's got the it thing, you know, the it.
Yeah.
He's got the it. And I think you should take another look and maybe put him in with one of our better topper guys and let him do a 15 or 20 minute audition instead of a 3 to 5 minute quickie in and out. And so they got him up, and he got in the ring 20 and they got hired.
Yeah.
And then and then
I thought him with Ring of Honor, he had a training school there, and the few times that I went to that training school, he was a master in the ring. There's another guy there who is kind of behind me, right above the after chat there that you knew for a while. The guy's name was Sting. And at his age, he is still performing. He's jumping off balconies. He's doing all this. Did you talk to him that night?
Sting?
Yeah.
I didn't see him.
You didn't see him?
Nope.
All right.
He wasn't there.
All right. Well, he's. What about Arn Anderson? Did you see Arn?
No, I did not. Arn was not there.
Okay, because I know you went on forever. So your whole feeling of the whole AEW experience was a positive experience.
Yes, very, very much so.